David, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us on the Midday View here on ENCA. I guess it is good news overall. I mean, the sentiment largely since last week when the news came through about a higher number that's been collected. Good news in the sense of a very tight economy that's been affected badly by the coronavirus pandemic.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me. Yes, it's extremely good news. It's a little bit not unexpected, if I can use a double negative for some people who are watching, because we saw better collections than expected in December, particularly, and then going through January, watching what size we're collecting. It was all looking a little better than it has and was expected. So it is great that we've come in ahead of the revised forecasts, and in a way it bodes well for us going forward and getting through the first part of the pandemic.
Okay, indeed, the first part of the pandemic. And in terms of the sectors that were reported to have contributed, like mining, if you look back at the lockdowns and the problems with Eskom, of energy, especially last year, one would have thought mining might have battled.
Yes, and mining always battles. We know they go through these huge boom and bust cycles, and I don't believe you can rely on them to budget for your income because of it. It's good to see that they did better than expected. Hopefully that carries forward into the next year and the year after, because this is where critically we're going to see some of the effects. And why I say first part of the pandemic, I don't expect to see all the tax loss in the first year, but going forward, hopefully that we carry those that little bit of a boom cycle forward, and we can continue collecting and getting out of them while we reestablish the rest of the economy. Yeah,
from a tax collector's perspective, what would Mr. Edward Kisweta be hoping would assist this cycle of more money? More money,
yeah. Well, I think he'll take a lot of heart from the fact, I can't remember the numbers, but he quoted something about 158 million rand or something through enhanced compliance. That I think he'll take a lot of heart from, and going forward, looking at how again, he's been having to continue the rebuild of SARS and their efficiencies. And then at the same time, hoping that we get in place a structure, and unfortunately we have to look to the government for that, as we always do, the structure to allow the economy to grow further. As we go forward, we can't rely on, for instance, in this case, the sort of boom cycle of the mining. We need to rebuild. So I think he will be going, right, we're going to keep improving SARS and our collection capacity, but then at the same time, hopefully whispering in the ears saying, we've got to get that structure in place that we can grow the economy by our 3.5% or whatever we might want to get it to.
David, finally, that's from the tax collector's perspective. From us as taxpayers, we would hope this money will be spent well. I mean, we're in the midst of a COVID-19 pandemic. The country has to procure and buy millions and millions of doses of the COVID-19 vaccines. I mean, we would hope that it will be money well spent by the fiscus.
Absolutely. The SARS will be going, okay, we've collected extra. There it goes into the pot. And we hope that the rest of government doesn't go wild, focuses it in the right place. Interestingly, I would like to see some pay down of debt if we can. I do believe our debt levels are heading off for very too high, if I can mangle my English a little bit. But we'd like to pay off some debt if we can. And then also looking forward to collecting additional money and being able to spend it in the right places that do enhance that investment environment that we so desperately need.
Yeah, use some of it. I think it makes sense to pay some of this big debt that we face currently. Thank you very much, David French. This Midday View, he's of course a tax consulting director at Mazars.